Power tools are some of the most awe-inspiring products sold in home improvement stores. Drills, saws, sanders, routers, grinders, jointers, and all kinds of other power tools help us accomplish all kinds of projects quickly and easily with professional results. But there's a lot you need to know about them, and if you're new to the world of home improvement retailing, they can be a little bit intimidating. Well, have no fear. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about 3 of the most popular power tools: portable power drills, saws, and sanders. We'll also discuss important care and safety guidelines. Usually, these are just referred to as drills. Drills come in corded and cordless versions. Cordless drills are often called drill drivers or driver drills since they're almost all designed for drilling holes and driving screws. Every drill has what's known as a chuck, which is what holds the drill bit, driver bit, or other accessory in place. Chucks are either keyed or keyless. A keyed chuck is loosened and tightened with a rotary key, while a keyless chuck is operated by hand. A keyless chuck offers 2 main advantages. First, there's no key to lose. Second, since there's no key, bit changes are faster and easier. The size of a drill's chuck is also important. Power drills are classified according to chuck capacity, that is, the largest diameter bit or accessory shank the chuck will accept. The most common sizes are 3/8 inch and 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch drills typically turn more slowly than 3/8 models. In general, the slower the speed of the drill, the higher the twisting power or torque. More torque is better for tough jobs, but it also means a bigger, heavier drill. Many drills have variable speed control, a valuable asset when working with different materials and bit sizes. Larger bits and harder materials require lower speeds, while smaller bits and softer materials call for higher speeds. A variable speed drill allows the user to start drilling at a low RPM, then speed up to drill the hole. It's also helpful for screw driving, which requires slower speeds. Most variable speed drills allow the user to control the speed by varying the pressure on the trigger. Many drills also have reversing action, which lets users remove screws and back drill bits out of holes. Periodically reversing the bit out of deep holes clears out dust and shavings, which keeps it from getting stuck, and it cools down the bit too. Another common feature on higher quality power drills is an adjustable clutch. Now, the clutch disengages the drill's drive shaft at a preset resistance level. When this happens, the motor keeps running, but the bit doesn't turn. An adjustable clutch lets users fine-tune the torque, making it easier to drill to a consistent depth. It also protects the motor and helps prevent stripped screw heads. Of course, no discussion of drills would be complete without mentioning drill bits. The most common bit material is high-speed steel. Drill bits come in a variety of shapes and sizes for different applications. So here's a quick review of some of the more common ones. Screwdriver insert and power bits are used for screw driving. Twist bits drill into wood, plastic, and many metals. Forstner bits cut clean, flat-bottom holes in wood. Auger bits cut large holes in wood, and self-feed bits are used mainly by pros for roughing out large holes. Now let's turn our attention to another very common power tool, the power saw. Power saws come in many different shapes and sizes. Some varieties, such as table saws, are stationary, but in this segment, we're going to focus on portable power saws, namely circular saws, jig saws, and reciprocating saws. Some saws are designed to be used in wide open areas, while others are for making precise cuts in small spaces. And with that in mind, let's check out some saws. We'll start with the ever-popular circular saws. They come in different blade diameters, the most common being 7 1/4 inches. They're used to make rip cuts and cross cuts in a variety of materials. Now, there are 2 basic circular saw types. The standard circular saw, sometimes called a sidewinder saw, is more common. It's a compact, low-maintenance tool with the motor set perpendicular to the blade. Standard circular saws tend to be lightweight, and they're available in corded and cordless versions. Now, the other variety is a worm drive circular saw, which is more specialized. The motor on a worm drive circular saw is set in line with the blade, and it has an oil-filled crankcase that requires more maintenance. It tends to be heavier than a standard circular saw, but since the blade is on the left side, it offers a better line of sight for more precise cutting. Worm drive circular saws have special gears that transfer power to the blade for more torque. This helps keep the blade from stalling in the middle of a cut. Now, the next type of saw we'll talk about is a jig saw, also known as a saber saw. Jigsaws cut with an up and down blade motion and are ideal for making curved and irregular cuts. Most models can cut through 1-inch thick hardwood or up to 1.5 inches in softer wood. Higher quality jigsaws have longer blade strokes, orbital action, and variable speed. Some low-end jigsaws have a scrolling feature, allowing the user to turn the blade while cutting by turning a knob on top of the saw instead of turning the entire tool. Some jigsaws have bases that tilt to make bevel cuts. The last power saw we'll discuss is a reciprocating saw, often called a recip saw for short. Recip saws are popular for demolition and rough-in work. With the right blade, they can cut through practically anything. They cut with a back-and-forth motion, and they work great in tight quarters. Better recip saws have the option of cutting with orbital action, which is only for use with wood. Metal cutting requires a short stroke length and no orbital action. Most recip saws have variable speeds, and the best ones have quick release blades and adjustable shoes for greater stability. Every power saw is designed to use a specific blade size noted in the owner's manual. It's essential that your customers purchase the correct blade size. It's also important to know that different blades have different numbers of teeth on them. The number of teeth is what determines the kind of cut the blade makes. A blade with fewer teeth will typically cut fast, resulting in a quick but rough cut. The more teeth a blade has, the more slowly it will tend to cut, but the finished cut will be smoother. Saw blades have many other variations as well, far more than we have time to cover here. And now we come to our third and final power tool category, portable power sanders. These are often used for smoothing and or leveling surfaces, preparing surfaces such as drywall, and for removing paint or varnish from wood furniture. They're also handy for shaping or rounding edges. Since power sanders remove material a lot faster than sanding by hand, they're great for getting the first stages of sanding completed quickly. But there's a drawback. Even the finest power sanding tends to leave some scratches behind. While this may be fine for rough work, it's not good for fine furniture or cabinetry. To eliminate all visible scratches, some hand sanding is usually required. Portable power sanders are available in 3 general types: belt sanders, pad sanders, and detail sanders. A belt sander uses a continuous loop or belt of sandpaper that fits over rollers. Belt sanders are heavy, powerful, and ideal for rough sanding jobs on flat surfaces. They're meant for heavy-duty sanding, not for finish work. To properly use a belt sander, guide it with the grain of the wood. Don't press down hard, but do hold on. Pad sanders, and remember that term includes both orbital and random orbit sanders, are used for all kinds of sanding projects, including furniture, walls, ceilings, floors, cabinets, and other woodwork. Orbital sanders are best for refining the finish of a surface that has already been sanded. Random orbit sanders are more aggressive than orbital sanders. Now, for this reason, random orbit sanders are better suited for smoothing joints, removing coatings, and refining rougher surfaces. And then we have our last type of power sander, the detail sander, also referred to as a finishing sander. Detail sanders are perfect for sanding around odd shapes and tiny nooks and crannies in woodwork. They're also good for sanding in tight spots where a larger sander just won't fit. Detail sanders are often used for crafts and millwork. Some power sanders have dust collection bags, which must be emptied often to maintain good performance. Others have an attachment for a vacuum cleaner hose. When using any power sander, the best results come from applying light, even pressure using long strokes, letting the moving parts of the sander do the work, and changing the sanding pad, belt, or disc as soon as it becomes noticeably less effective. In most cases, sanding 3 times, first with a coarse grit, then with an intermediate grit, then with a fine grit, will give good results. Of course, power tools need proper care to stay in top shape. Power tools and accessories that aren't correctly taken care of may experience a loss of performance over time. Power tools and accessories need to be kept clean and free of dust, resin, and all other residue. Clean all power tools and accessories after using them. In very dusty environments, clean them periodically during use as well. Always unplug corded power tools before cleaning and storing them, and always store them in a clean, dry place well out of the reach of children. Never use a damaged or broken power tool or accessory because that can be dangerous.